What's up, Fit Them? Welcome back to the Fit Focus Forum, where we take the complexity out of fitness and put the focus back on action. What we're doing here is giving high-achieving professionals, the ones juggling like 50-hour work weeks, constant travel, and maybe a little bit of low-key burnout, the precise strategies that they need to own their fitness without sacrificing their careers or their sanity. So tonight, we'll be talking about something that has probably confused all of you at some point, including myself, in our journeys. Carbs. Not protein, not workouts, not supplements. Carbs. Because if there's one thing that the fitness industry has done incredibly well, it's made you question whether eating a potato is going to ruin your fucking life. And here's the truth. Most people don't struggle with carbs because carbs are complicated, right? They struggle because they don't understand how to use them. So today, we're going to fix that. So let's start here. Carbs are not the enemy, but they are also not something you want to ignore or use randomly. They are a tool like anything else. And like any other tool, if you don't understand how it works, you're either going to misuse it or avoid using it altogether. Both of these lead to poor results. So let's talk about what carbs actually do, right? Let's simplify this as much as possible. Carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. When you eat carbs, they break down into glucose. That glucose gets stored as glycogen in your muscles and your liver. And please forgive me, guys. I'm going to be letting people in to today's chat so that we can do a question and answer after this, all right? So that glucose gets stored as glycogen in your muscles and your liver. I want you to think of glycogen like stored fuel. When you train, lift weights, or do anything physically demanding, your body pulls from that stored fuel. So when your glycogen stores are full, you feel strong, you feel capable, you perform well. And when they're low, everything feels harder than it should be. I know I've had those moments at the gym myself. These workouts where you walk in and everything just feels heavy, right? Your energy is low, your focus is off, and you're questioning why you're even there. That's often not a motivation issue, it's a fuel issue. So, why do carbs matter for lifting? Let's connect this directly to your results, because this is where things really matter. Muscle growth does not come from simply doing workouts. If that was the case, this would be a lot easier. It comes from performance over time, progressively lifting more, moving better, creating enough stimulus for your body to adapt. Carbs support that process. They give you the energy to push harder, complete more reps, and maintain intensity. And without that energy, your workouts, they become maintenance at best and ineffective at worst. And that's the last thing any of us want. So quick check-in here. Think about your last few workouts. I'll give you a moment. Did you feel strong? Did you feel in control? Or did it feel like you were just trying to get through it? That answer tells you a lot about how fueling your body works and about how you're fueling your body. Let's address something important, because many people have tried cutting carbs and seen the scale drop quickly. I get this argument all the time from people, but no, it actually works. I lost 10 pounds in the first week. I'm going to do this forever. I'm never eating a carb again. Guys, that's absolute fucking bullshit, all right? It feels like it's working, but here's what's actually happening. When you reduce your carbs, your glycogen stores, they decrease. And glycogen holds water. So as glycogen drops, you lose water weight. The scale moves fucking quickly. We all wish the scale could move that quickly, but unfortunately, biologically, fat does not leave your body that quickly. And that's right, it's not all body fat. But at the same time, your energy often drops as well. Your workouts suffer. Your overall performance declines, not just in the gym, but outside of the gym as well. For me, particularly when I'm not eating enough carbs, my sex isn't as good, right? Everything we do in the gym translates into real life. So while it can look effective short term, it often creates problems in the long term. Now, I want to talk about simple versus complex carbs. All right, let's break down another common point of confusion. Simple carbs and complex carbs, two different things. Simple carbs digest quickly. They provide fast energy. Examples like this include fruit, white rice, or foods that your body can break down rapidly, like potato chips or ultra processed foods. Let's pause there for a second. Let's talk about processed versus ultra processed foods because I think it's really important to understand the difference. Ultra processed foods are things like Doritos or prepackaged cakes in the store, right? Yes, they're carbohydrates, but they're so overly processed that they slam your bloodstream, right? And then your body releases too much insulin to try to maintain homeostasis, pulling it out of your blood. This can lead to all sorts of problems down the line. So, my suggestion here really is to limit ultra processed foods to as little as possible. I'm not saying that you should never eat them, okay? There's some shit that I think is really good. I am a fan of those Hostess cupcakes that have the chocolate frosting and the little white swirl on top, but I think I probably eat them once a year. And I'll just say that thank God they only do Cadbury cream eggs at Easter because I can't walk in a store and not buy one. Hey, I'm human like everyone else, right? We have our quote unquote addictions or the things that make us happy, but we have to limit them, right? Or else it's going to cause huge problems. So let's get back now to complex carbs. All right. They digest more slowly. They tend to keep you fuller, longer. They provide more sustained energy. Examples of this include like potatoes, oats, and the all important whole grains. Don't be afraid of bread, guys. All right. It just needs to be the right kind of bread. But here's the key point. This is not about labeling one as good or one as bad, although ultra processed foods probably can fall a little bit more in the bad column. It's really about understanding when each one of these is useful. Fast energy before or around a workout, simple carbs, very effective. Steady energy throughout the day, complex carbs. They tend to be more helpful. Now, we were talking about good versus bad carbs. So let's address that idea. Good versus bad carbs. This is where a lot of people get stuck. There's no real inherently bad carbs unless we really go down the ultra processed route, like I mentioned a moment ago. But there are foods that are easier to overconsume and provide less nutritional value. I'll say it one more time, like ultra processed foods. These highly processed carb sources are often less filling and easier to eat in large amounts. That's where they become problematic. They do not fill you up. They spike your blood sugar. And like I said, they lead to a whole host of problems that can lead into health problems, not just gaining weight, but everything that goes along with it. Now, on the other hand, whole food carb sources, they tend to be more filling and provide additional nutrients. So instead of just thinking in terms of good versus bad, right? Think in terms of control versus purpose. Can you manage your portions? Does this support your goals? Does it help you perform and feel better? Always ask yourself those three questions. Now, we're gay. Or if you're not watching this and you're not gay, that's cool too. Or if you're watching this and you're not gay, that's cool too. But we all know what cutting versus bulking is, right? Let's talk about the application of this. Now, carbs fit into your goals in different ways. When you're trying to lose body fat, the primary driver is a caloric deficit. It's not removing carbohydrates. You could absolutely include carbs and still lose body fat effectively. In fact, keeping carbs in your plan often helps maintain workout performance. You preserve muscle and you improve adherence. And consistency really is the most important thing of all. Now, when you're trying to build muscle, carbs become even more important. They support higher training output, better recovery, and they help your body use protein more effectively for muscle growth. So, in both cases, carbs play a role. The difference is simply how much you're using based on whatever goal you've set for yourself. And goals change, guys. We get to a certain weight, now we want to put on muscle. We start eating at our maintenance calories so our body has more nutrients, more glycogen, all that good stuff it needs. Maybe we go on vacation for a month. If you're lucky enough to be able to do something like that, you come back, you've gained 10 pounds, you go the other direction. All right. Our goals change, but the use of carbohydrates should not be eliminated from any of those goals. Why do people think that carbohydrates are the problem? All right. So this is something that I think I get asked all the time. Let's clear this up directly. So carbs do not automatically lead to fat gain. Consistently eating more calories than your body needs leads to fat gain. Carbs can be easy to overeat, especially in certain forms, like the ultra processed carbohydrates. And that's where people run into issues. But the problem, it's not the carb itself, it's how and when it's being used. So this is where we shift from theory to reality. Most challenges with carbs come down to behavior, irregular eating patterns, long gaps without food, eating based on stress or fatigue rather than need. When your body is underfueled during the day, it often leads to stronger cravings later on. If you're one of those people that says, I'm a night snacker, it's not the night snacking that you need to look at. Although, yes, pay attention to what you're putting in your body. You need to look at what you're doing the rest of the day that leads to you being a night snacker who can't control what they put in their body. It feels like a lack of control, right? But what this is it's actually your body just trying to catch up. So I want to talk about now how to use carbs effectively. What does this look like in practice? You use carbs intentionally. You place them around times where your body benefits the most. Before training to support your performance, after training to support recovery, and throughout the day in a way that keeps your energy stable. Balanced with protein and other nutrients is the way to go. This is consistent, it's structured, and it's non-reactive. Okay, so, to bring this to a close, right? If you've been avoiding carbs, there's a good chance you've been making your progress harder than it needs to be. Lower energy, weaker workouts, more cravings, and less consistency overall. Now, when you understand how to use carbs, they stop being something that you fear and start becoming something that supports your results. So here's what I want you to think about. Based on what we talked about tonight, are you avoiding carbs? Or are you actually using them in a way that supports your goals? If you are avoiding carbs, did you learn anything today that is going to help you make the right decisions rather than cutting carbs out completely now that you know and understand how they affect your body? Guys, if you're confused, right, if you need more direction on any of this, that's why we're here. So do me a favor. If you'd like to chat with us and find out a little bit more about how we can help you figure out what carbs you need in your diet, and you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, drop the word "my turn" below and someone from our team is going to reach out to you and have a discussion about what steps you need to take next to start improving your health and move towards your goals quicker than you ever could on your own. All right. I really appreciate you guys coming here and listening. I hope that in each one of these, you guys are learning something. We've just changed the way that we do this. These used to just be for my clients, but this is now the first one that we're actually going to post and put onto iTunes and Spotify. So welcome to the Fit Focus Forum podcast. We're going to be having guests. I already have my first two guests lined up. They just don't know it yet. It's okay. They're good friends of mine. And, we're going to make this as fun as possible because, yes, we want you to get the information that you need in order to support your goals and your healthy lifestyle, especially as gay men or anybody that supports the LGBTQ plus community is welcome here, by the way. But gay men have different lifestyles, so we do focus on that a lot. If you guys have any ideas or any topics that you would like to discuss, email me. It's Russell, RUSSELL, at stathamfitness.com. That's STATHOM fitness, one word, .com. Okay, it's been a pleasure, guys. I hope to see you again. We do this 2 times a month right now. We'll be moving it up to once a week very soon. You guys have a great night.